Hello, my friends. It's been so long. My name is Will. You're watching NB Reads. I have now opened a queer bookstore in Copenhagen, Denmark, and we are running it. And it's going great. It's a lot of fun. I'm currently kind of taking hiatus from doing a vlog that sort of explains more, shows you more of like what this whole thing is about, but it's to pull it short, I'm extremely exhausted and I have no time to film. I don't know when to fit it in. I'm only free like on Mondays and I'm so tired in the morning, so tired in the evening, and I've been trying to film a January wrap-up for like 2 weeks now. I've just closed the pond, the name of the queer bookstore, and I was like, okay, I have a little bit of energy. I can do this. So today I'm going to talk about the books that I read in January. Please let me know if you're interested in seeing like a short rapid fire video wrap up of the books I read between July and December, because I did not do any wrap ups then. I know. Very annoying. So I could do something like that. I really want to, because I like to have all my books that I read recorded, but who knows? So let me know if you're interested, because I would love to do it, but it would just be a little bit of effort, and I don't know if people are interested. This dust jacket is not on the correct way. So the first book that I read this year, in 2025, was Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kauai Strong Washburn. I've had this on my TBR for such a long time. It follows a family in Hawaii and sort of them growing up, and the plot sets off with that one of the siblings on a cruise is overboard, gets saved by these sharks, and then he kind of has these abilities to heal people. And it creates all these very strange dynamics in the family where the parents kind of want to sort of save their family by like profiting off of this because they don't have a lot of like funds. And the siblings just feel like he's their favorite. It's a very slow book. It's more about the journey, less about the plot. And so a lot of it feels like quite slow, and I was never really like excited to pick it up, but once I was reading, I was like really into it. I was really enjoying this book. So it is an exploration of like family and the connection to the land, what it means to feel like home, the power of like where you come from, and especially something like such a magical place like Hawaii and the ties that bind you to that place. I think the book is very beautiful, and I would recommend this to quite a lot of people. It's not very magical, even though it has like that one element, and it's quite straightforward and predictable. Like, I kind of wish it would have wrapped up differently towards the end, but it was like a very strong book, and I think it could have leaned even more into the themes around family and the push and pull of those ties and the complexities there, because there's so much great stuff in here. And I just feel like it could have gone even further with exploring that. Since I'm reading basically only queer books now, I might mention that the sister, she is gay. So I gave it 3.5 stars. It was just fine, quite slow, but worth the read. I then started my slut reading vlog, and I won't talk too much about it because I talk quite extensively about it in that vlog. This is The Sluts by Dennis Cooper. It is a horror, and it entirely is written from reviews and emails and exchanges that go on online. And it's basically all these people, men, and they're all obsessed with this sex worker called Brad. And there's a lot of speculation about who Brad is. What is he doing right now? What does he want? And a lot of the fantasies that people get involved with just get more and more extreme. And so it's like a very grotesque exploration of like the internet cesspool that can be created out of it, the harm it can cause, and the minds that it feeds, essentially. It's a big mystery, and it also gave me a big ick throughout it. So I found it engaging. I would not recommend this to anyone, to be honest. I don't know who would enjoy it, but Dennis Cooper has made like quite a name for himself within queer horror. So I was excited to pick up something by his work, and a lot of people have said that this is the nastiest book there is out there. So of course, I'm like, after reading Brainworms, I'm like, what could be nastier? Maybe competing for that. I gave it also 3.5 stars, right? Like all the first books I read this year were all like 3.5 stars, very, very wild. But I'll talk more in depth about it in my vlog that's coming up. I usually don't do this. I usually just tell you to go watch the vlog, but this video needs to go up there. So after reading that, I was like, okay, I need something the opposite of that, just like something fun, comedy. So I picked up this book. This is The Moonballers by Jeffrey Soto. very small published work, but I thought this kind of, it looks, I mean, such a cool design, like vintage, but it follows this one tennis league, like queer tennis league, and there are like drama and baddie humor and like dynamics, and the story kicks off because there is a straight man that joins their league, and everyone's like, what is he doing here? And some people are like, it's fine, who cares, we're supposed to be open. And some people are like, but this is separatist, like, yeah. So it's a lot of fun characters in this with like very big personalities. You kind of hate and love each character for like different things. And so it's about the drama, and there's this one character who is sort of our main character, but you get to follow like a bunch of different characters in it who is just kind of stuck up with how things used to be, and he's the best, and someone's like threatening his place. It's a lot of fun. I'm not a fan of tennis, and this book was really great at like explaining the tennis things, but not focusing on it too much, so you're always like with it and you're kind of like learning a little bit. So I think it could be great for people who are both like a fan of tennis, play tennis, and also people who don't, like me. The Moonballers, it's kind of referring to, a moonball is like a shot that goes like this, like an arch, and it's sort of like impossible to hit, or not impossible, but it's very hard to hit back, but it's seen as like kind of like a cheap move. So I think it's kind of referred to like as a wimp or as like pussy type thing, which is why it's called Moonballers. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy this a lot. I also just like genuinely enjoy books that go into like a niche of something, you know, and make you interested in that thing. And I think it has a lot of like heart and humor and satire, and it sort of makes fun of like queer community. Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun. The reason why I rated it like that much lower is because there is a reveal at the end. Actually, there's like 3 reveals at the end that are just happening so fast, and you're just like, was this necessary? And one of them is that one of the characters is trans. And I just feel like that's like the trope for trans people, is like the reveal, the shock factor, oh my god, you were trans. And it's like, it's not done bad, but it's like, why would you do that? Why not just make the character trans from the start? Like, I feel that information that we got there could have just been an element that was kind of there in the start, because I was thinking this whole time, like, there's a queer tennis league and not a single person is trans, but then that person was like used as a reveal at the end, but it is because of the connections they had to other people that we kind of get tidbits dropped in throughout the story. Still, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was kind of tired, but I do recommend this book. With that information, I do recommend this book. It was just a lot of fun. Exactly what I needed. And then I picked up another slut book for my vlog, Sluts, the anthology, edited by T. Michelle. This is great. This is a mix of like fiction and nonfiction short stories from a lot of like different authors, very diverse selection. All the letters under the kind of like the queer umbrella, the LGBTQ umbrella, as well as just thoughts and ruminations about slutty behavior, their past. It was really good. It might be like the best anthology that I ever read. I think it was just put together really well. The first story was great, and the last story was great in those positions. Usually in anthologies or short story collections, I just end up kind of feeling exhausted by how I have to like restart a story every single time, the effort it takes to get invested again and again. But I didn't feel it with this. Like, I could reach story after story. It just kept being great. The nonfiction ones were definitely my favorites because I gave it 4.5 stars. I mean, some of the stories I wasn't a big fan of. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much, obviously, because my vlog is hopefully being finished soon. Who knows? And I go more in like individual stories and stuff there. And then I picked up In Universes. I've seen this kind of around in like another cover, so I was interested in picking it up. So In Universes follows Rafi, who is like a scientist, likes to imagine and speculative and like intellectualize like different universes, and the book is kind of played out through these like different universes that the main character experiences, and there are reoccurring characters and themes that Rafi has like processes and goes through in these different universes. So it sounds like something I'd really enjoy, and I was like really hyped for this one. I thought it would be just up my alley. I think it came off as like a little bit pretentious in a way and what I wasn't really expecting, and I got really, really frustrated with the main character because they're buried in so much like guilt and regret, and you get to see that explored like through these different universes that they go through or experience. And I think I used to beat myself up about like things that I regret and guilt I had for different situations, and I just saw myself in this main character a lot, and I think that's why I would just kind of hated them. Which I find really frustrating because I don't think this is a bad book, but I feel enraged thinking about it because I haven't processed those feelings, which is so unfair to rate a book 2.5 stars because of that. It's just like the way I feel that this person's so lucky and so privileged in so many ways, and it's almost selfish the way they're approaching certain situations. And I think in a way I got a lot out of reading this book. Some fun universes where things happen that aren't like physically possible in the reality that we're living now, and I should have enjoyed that, and I did enjoy some part of it, get silly, but I just couldn't get over the main character in this. I feel like that's an adequate review. It was too much like for me, I guess. I don't know. And the last book I read was Elseship, An Unrequited Affair by Tree Abraham. This is a memoir told in like multimedia format, which I love, and I was just intrigued about it based on that because I do like untraditional memoirs quite a bit. What's unique about this one is that it follows or discusses only this one relationship that Tree had, where she fell in love with her roommate, and her roommate does not reciprocate the feelings. And it's about love in different forms, and specifically the feeling of unrequited love, which is quite interesting, especially coming from Tree, who is somewhere on the ace spectrum. It's divided into these different chapters titled after different forms of love in the Greek language. And so it also explores what role language plays in our understanding of like feelings and experiences, which is definitely also interesting. It was just really, really good. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it a lot. It made me like appreciate the people in my life and the different forms of love that I feel, and think a lot about our connection to other people, the nuances that are in that, and how we like categorize certain things or view things certain differently because of those categorization. But it's also just like chemicals in your brain, but also just like so beautiful to have love and human connection no matter what form they take. And I just found it really good. I think that it can also come off as like pretentious because the author is also talking about like how she loves herself, and that made it easier to live in this situation. But yeah, if you like memoirs that are untraditional, I highly recommend this one. It was a lot of fun, beautiful, very relatable. I always feel like I love harder, so part of me always feels like love is unrequited, but we can never know what other people are feeling when they feel love, even when we're in a relationship. So there's always gonna be that gap. I don't know, it was just like, I'm rambling now, but it was just really good. I appreciate it a lot, and I'm gonna be picking up like more untraditional memoirs this year for sure, because I think it's just recently clicked for me that I really like those. And also just the multimedia format is really fun, interactive, and a lot of like things to like sift through and dig through, and yeah, this was great. Those are all the books that I read in January or so far this year. It's not true. The middle of February, I read more now. But yeah, let me know if you're interested in knowing about the books that I did not review last year. Follow the pod on Instagram. I'm here now. I'm so excited to go home. I'm so tired. If you're not seeing footage of me content, it's probably because I'm making content for the pod, so you can catch me there. I also am using Instagram a little bit more, or trying to. But yeah, Sluts vlog coming up. Oh! I almost forgot to mention the most exciting thing. I celebrated 10 years on YouTube on the 8th of February. So I've been making videos for 10 years now, which is absolutely wild. And I was gonna make a video for that date, but I didn't have the time. But yay, celebration. And it's kind of weird because Books and Lala is also doing like a 10 years on BookTube. It's not my 10 years on BookTube. I probably started doing BookTube like a year into doing YouTube, but still very exciting. Did not realize I'd been here in this space almost as long as her. Crazy. Okay, I wish you all an amazing, beautiful day. Okay, rambly. I will talk to you all soon. I wish you all a beautiful, magical day. Bye.